told me I've only got 12 hours to live. And she said, well, what do you want to do about it? And he said, I've thought about it. I know what I want to do. I want to go to bed and make love to you all night long. And she said, well, that's all very well for you. You don't have to get up in the morning. And I think, we're all fighting a battle like that poor guy of epic proportions, and it's not anything to do with an energy. And also that other battle like cancer and heart disease and all those kind of things. But whenever I speak to people about health and wellness, all they ever want to do is lose weight and enter Health Point. And that's what I really love about Health Point, is it actually gets, it sorts out both of those things. And if you ever feel like any of those things that you saw on the screen, what I do initially with my clients is I sit down with them and I help them work out smarter goals. And what a smarter goal is before they even get going, I want to find out what's their reason, what is their motivation, and try and get them to realize what good health, emotional connection between you and the goal that you want to achieve, because then I know I'm going to keep you in the game. And then the second non-negotiable is I sit down and I do a body composition with you, because that's going to show me what is actually going on. Because the scary statistics are, and I heard this last week, is that out of the 30% of people that are actually skinny, 50% of them are dealing with cholesterol and high blood pressure and or diabetes and things like that. And the reason being is they're never ever going to put on weight because of their metabolism, but they're probably a higher health risk than most people. So I do that with you. And then the next thing that I get going is we actually get onto the next slide. What we do then is we actually run you through the program. We eat real food. A lot of the time I focus on the food that you're already eating anyway, and all I change is the portion sizes, the combination, and the timing between how you're eating it. And obviously the biggest thing then is you'll get the result you want, because I introduce habits through my program that help you change along the way as well. And the easiest way to explain how Health Point actually works is we've got two fuel sources. One's carbs and one is fat, and we use protein as a building block. Now, what we do, what Health Point safely does, is we reduce your carb tank so that we can access your fat tank. And you know where your fat tank is. That's where you're carrying most of your weight. And through that process, the first 3 days you lose weight quite quickly, because of your carbs carry a lot of water, so that's a quick weight loss. And then you have a slight raise, and then you consistently lose weight until you reach your ideal weight. So that your next step would be is what I term find a strong reason, which is mostly your emotional connection, so that you can change. Shout out for help, get yourself a Health Point coach, and then obviously I say try and get your spouse to join you as well, because then it just makes the whole process a lot easier. So that's Health Point's eating program in a nutshell. But what I really want to focus on today is the wellness side of Health Point. And in the wellness side of Health Point, what you will find when I sit down with you is I always put you onto a supplement program, and I use very, very specific supplements. And the reason being is I know the source of those supplements. And there's two schools of thought. One is the scientific one, where soil is a matter where you pour chemicals into and you grow a plant, and they're trying to actually control nature. The other theory behind that is using living soil, and that's what I love about Nutrilite. Is living soil is a soil that consists of nutrients. It's got all the organic matter with the insects and the bacteria and the humus and all those kind of things. And what happens is when you're using a living soil, you're actually working with nature, and that's what I love about Nutrilite especially. But let's just quickly talk about soil depletion, because what has happened is, I don't know if you guys have noticed, over the last 50, 60 years, our soil erosion has got worse and worse and worse. And I mean, just to let you guys know as well, is if you're eating something that they say is organic, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's been grown in a living soil. It only means it hasn't used chemicals to treat the plant. So don't get confused between the two of them. But what has happened 50 years ago, they did a study. They found out that the nutrient level in fruit, vegetable, and animals are depleted by 30%. Then you go back as far as 20 years ago. They're talking now about at the Earth Summit in Rio, 75% depleted. And then 17 years ago, they're talking about the nutrient content in the USA in spinach. The iron levels depleted by 90%. Now, if your vegetables are getting grown in soil like that, that is nutrient deficient, what do you think you're actually eating? And that's why I'm so passionate about Nutrilite, is because what they do is they use a living soil, and when I sit down with anybody, my bottom basement suggestion is to go onto a good daily, which is a multivitamin and an omega-3. So let's quickly chat about Nutrilite. Their philosophy has always been that they are going to use and focus on the growing tips of plants, so that we can use those growing tips of plants to supplement our body and to use that nutritional value. And what they do is they control everything from the seed, and they own their own farm. Now, if you've got a good quality seed getting grown on a farm with living soil, you're going to benefit from that plant and the high concentration of phytonutrients that go on inside of that. The other thing to know is that there's a lot of companies out there that what they do is they will reproduce something in a laboratory, but they will take one vitamin. Let's take ascorbic acid for argument's sake. They take that, they reproduce it in a laboratory, and you go and eat or take that supplement. What often happens is because our natural vitamin C in our body is not strong enough, you're taking a synthetic one, it's overpowering it, it's actually having the reverse effect. And the reason why plants, you want to have the whole synergy of what's going on there is because they all work together. And when you're eating something that's all working together, you're getting everything that has been produced together as a plant. And what plants do is they produce something called phytonutrients. And those phytonutrients are produced as a result of stressing a plant. And what Nutrilite does is they've learned how to stress a plant to its maximum effect, and then harvest those plants with the most phytonutrients. That gets put in a pill, and that's what we're actually consuming. So it's like all these little soldiers that are working for us. And then, and just to go back a step, there's one thing I just want to tell you guys right now. Don't get confused that anybody is dying of any lack of vitamins. Nobody here is dying of lack of scurvy because they lack vitamin C, or dying of beriberi because they lack vitamin B. That's not the diseases we're fighting today. We're fighting diseases from free radicals. And the only way to combat a free radical is to take high doses of antioxidants. And high doses of antioxidants come from your plants, come from your phytonutrients, come from those plants that have actually drawn all the nutrients out of the soil and that have been developed in a living soil. So I just wanted to clear that up. And then you all know my favorite products, all plant protein powder. It's used for so many things, and you can read those things on the screen there. But also, just think teenagers, think mood, think energy, think better sleep. Lean muscle mass, obviously I use it a lot in my program because it's great for weight loss, but a fantastic product right there. And then omega-3, I can start at the beginning of the alphabet and work through every single, from A to Z, and okay, this is not going to sound right, from acne to eczema with an X, and you will find something that omega-3 can solve. It's an absolutely brilliant brain functional product. And then there's two products that I always refer people to, which is a multivitamin daily, which has got all your phytonutrients in it, and then a slightly more pricey, which is called Double X, which is a creme de la creme of supplements out there right now. And what I've done is I've put on your table a little order form. There are a few specials available, but if anybody wants to know a little bit more about Nutrilite and the nutritional value, please come and chat to me at the end. So thanks very much, guys.